Hey everyone, my name is Corey Lynn Orth and I am a registered nurse, but I no longer work at the bedside. So I now work as an integrative health practitioner and life coach, and I get asked often, tell me your story. How did you get from being a nurse at the bedside to where you are now working as an integrative health practitioner and life coach? So I wanted to take some time today and just jump in and share my background and just the process of what it looked like to get there. I have a pretty traditional story about how I ended up in nursing. Nursing had always just seemed like a good fit for me. I loved helping people. I loved being able to teach them and take care of them. So I knew from the time I graduated high school to when I selected college that that was what I wanted to do. I ended up doing a traditional nursing program, a 4-year undergraduate bachelor's degree in nursing science. And after I finished that, I went right into working in the hospital setting where I worked on a cardiac step-down unit. But my dream had always been working in the emergency department. So when I got that ER job, I was ecstatic. Like, this is what I wanted to do, and I was able to do that. I ended up doing that for a couple of years and just began to feel a little bit unsettled, looking for something more to break up kind of the routine that even started to happen in the emergency department. And just talking to other people, once you get unsettled, you just go back for more education, get a higher degree. So that was the path I took. I ended up doing the nurse education route, as I had always enjoyed helping the nurse educator in the department and doing teaching, whether it be for current staff members or for new staff to the emergency department or new grads. So education seemed like a really good fit for me. I ended up completing my master's degree and I dropped part-time in the emergency department, and then also picked up clinical shifts for different colleges and universities, working with students at different levels and helping them as they went through the nurse education program. So that was a good fit for me for a little bit, just having a mix of both, working with the students and still being at the bedside and working in the acute care. And then I started to have kids, and there just seemed to be like another shift that happened that kind of made me unsettled and want to look into something new. So I remember the exact shift that I was working that I just hit a point and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. And I remember feeling so discouraged and just disappointed. I had actually written a piece about it and it's on my website, and it's called The Day I Realized I Didn't Want to Be a Nurse. And I just remember feeling, why was something that I was so passionate about and so excited to be doing now something that left me discouraged, that I felt worn out and defeated and just really dreaded going into work? And as I thought about that, I realized that there were personal factors, kind of internal things that had shifted in me. And then there were also some external factors that really just played into this, just feelings that I were experiencing about my nursing profession. And so for me, personal things definitely included family. Like at that time, I had 2 really young kids at home. So just this doing different shifts and kind of flip-flopping back and forth really started to take its toll on me. I started to just not have that energy that I used to have to be able to give to work. Whereas that work used to kind of be my baby, and doing all the projects and being involved in different committees, I just didn't have the energy to be pouring into that because I had a family now and I was a mom and I was taking care of my kids. So that was definitely a contributing factor for me that kind of led to those feelings that I was experiencing. And then just internally, I had a shifting philosophy on health. I had been in the conventional medicine system for a long time. I'd seen a lot of things, and there's just something shifting in me, making me ask, well, why do we do the things that we're doing for our patients? That made me take a step back and really evaluate my role as a nurse and how that played out in patient care. And is that how I want to be serving people and helping them obtain ultimate health and wellness? So those were the internal factors that really I started to evaluate to see, what do I want to be doing? Is this nursing the right thing for me? But there were also external factors as well. I felt that the environment I was in had a very heavy caseload. There were limited staff. There were always things coming from administration that just made me feel that I couldn't be the nurse that I wanted to be and taking care of patients and families how they deserve to be taken care of, and the kind of care that I wanted to provide. And there was a lack of value. Well, I really loved most of the patients and families that I cared for. There was also just and not being valued or appreciated, whether that be from some families and patients or from hospital administration. And just, was I just another body there at work that day? So that played a role for sure. And then again, I had mentioned like just the inability to provide great patient care. I remember nights getting in the car and just going through my day and feeling so discouraged about the care that I gave. This wasn't what I wanted to be doing for patients, to be going through this mental list of, did I forget to do this? Did I pass on this and report? That wasn't the type of care I wanted to be giving. And I didn't want to be in an environment where that was the only type of care that I could give. So, and again, just the overall health system, I had shared a little bit just how I had been having an internal shift in my philosophy of health, and just to be part of this health system and to just see what its main driver wasn't really about patient care and what was ultimately best for patients and families. And that I didn't want to be in a system like that. So kind of those internal factors and those external factors really led me down a path looking at what else can I do? What can I do to take my background that I have and use it to serve and care for others in a way that more aligns with my values and my beliefs? I had looked at a lot of different things of what can I do now that I'm a nurse and I don't want to work as a nurse? Like, what's available to me with all the background and education that I have? And I found integrative health. And I remember when I found it just thinking, this is what nursing is meant to be. This is what looks at the whole person and takes care of the whole person, rather than just looking at the symptoms that they're having and looking at what medication can I give or intervention can I do to kind of mask and manage those symptoms. So the whole philosophy of integrative health is that the physical symptoms that someone is experiencing is a sign that something is out of balance, and it looks into, well, why are those symptoms happening? Like, what is imbalanced that is causing these issues? The whole reason that people have health problems is there's either an imbalance or deficiency in certain key minerals, nutrients, electrolytes, or there's a toxicity of some sort, whether that be a pathogen, something in nursing we're familiar with, all the viruses, bacteria, fungi, or are there other toxins such as chemicals, environmental things that they've been exposed to, or even things like toxic emotions that can truly have a big impact on health. So integrative health looks at what is the why behind it, and let's address that why to be taking care of the person and helping their body get back to a state of balance that it takes away the symptoms that they're experiencing. And I remember just once I found that, all the time that I just jumped into reading everything that I could, just absorbing all the information, and then looking to see, okay, this is what I want to do. How do I go about doing that now? So that led me into finding a program that was a really good fit for me. So integrative health is definitely becoming more popular. Looking at a patient as a whole and not just the disease that they have is starting to pick up speed, which is awesome because this is what true health and wellness is really about. So there are so many different options of programs that were available out there. Why did I pick what I did, and what did I actually pick? After poring over all these different programs, what they had to offer, the training that would be involved, and how I would be equipped to practice, I found the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, and I love their program. It was created by Dr. Stephen Cabral, based out of Boston, and his story is pretty incredible, just everything that he overcame, and then how he created this program to really teach and equip and empower others to go out and help themselves, their family, and others to heal. So this program takes 7 different disciplines and creates one integrative health program. So there's 2 levels. So level 1 looks at the de-stress protocol, all about lifestyle and just the simple key things that someone can change in their life to help promote health and wellness. Level 2 looks at what imbalances are there, because we don't have to guess. We can actually be testing for what is off in the body that's causing the symptoms that someone is experiencing. So level 2 really goes in depth about, okay, what's going on? How can we be testing? And then what do we actually do with those test results? How do we read those and then kind of make adjustments to help that body get into more of a state of balance? So this was a really good fit for me. It was all online. It was at my own pace, which again, I had 2 little kids at home, was very important to be able to find time to study when they were napping or sleeping. And there was an incredible online community that offered support that I could be popping onto, asking questions. And then there were also monthly live dives to be going in, to be gathering together as a group and just running those questions off and connecting with others in the program. So it was at my own pace. It took me about a year to complete. Again, 2 little kids, ended up pregnant with my third too, and then teaching clinicals. This was at the start and in the beginning of when COVID hit too. So lots of shifts happening, but it worked really well for my family and I and what I needed. Also, the price was a good price point for what you got. It was about $2,000 for level 1. If you did level 1 and level 2, it was about $4,000 for the program. And that just seemed like reasonable for everything that you got, and then how I could be taking that and really furthering my education and moving into this new area to be working as a practitioner. A big question that I always get about working as an integrative health practitioner is, well, what's the scope of practice? And this is a great question. As nurses, we are familiar with scope of practice. Probably one of the biggest areas of scope of practice that we work in is all about education and teaching patients and their families, mostly about medications and interventions. So very similar is an integrative health practitioner, that we work and function mostly as a health coach, that we are able to teach and equip clients, their families, to be looking at different health lifestyles and how that actually impacts their health and well-being. So integrative health practitioners are able to evaluate someone's current lifestyle, looking at the food that they're eating, how they're moving their body when it comes to exercise, looking at their sleep, their stress levels, the different toxins they may be exposed to, and also looking at their emotional overall well-being, their mindset. They are able to make lifestyle recommendations based on that evaluation that they do, and then they provide education, providing lots of different resources and giving that client what they need to be learning more and feeling empowered to be making choices for themselves, to be leading to an improved overall health and well-being. And so they also can offer supplement recommendations off set protocols that have been established in the Integrative Health Practitioner course. And then those practitioners who do the training of level 2 and looking at the functional lab testing can read those functional labs and offer recommendations off set protocols from the training with that. What integrative health practitioners do not do includes diagnosing or treating a disease. They do not order labs, they do not interpret labs, and they also do not make medication changes or medication recommendations. So that's overall kind of look at the scope of practice of how an integrative health practitioner works with their clients. So let's talk about business and what that looks like for an integrative health practitioner. And the fun thing is that it gets to be whatever you want it to be. You can fit it into your life and make it work your schedule and your family's life how you need it to be working at a time for you. So I'm going to talk about some just kind of generalizations that probably are across the board for integrative health practitioners. And then I'll share a little bit about how I've set up my practice to be fitting my life right now. So most practitioners will work, usually start out working individually one-on-one with clients. And from there, they kind of find a niche that fits them really well, their area of expertise. And as they see clients and build up their client roster, many times people will start to work in a group coaching environment, or even creating like a group coaching program to be building off of what they've seen working one-on-one, and to be able to scale that to be helping more people at a time, because time's always limited. You only have so much. So how can you be doing the most with the time that you have? And for many practitioners, that becomes creating a group coaching program. So hours can be whatever you want it to be, setting up based around your family schedule, your schedule, what you want it to be. For me, working, I've got 3 little kiddos, so most of my client appointments are in the evening or on weekends, and that works really good for life right now. But as they grow and as they get older and get into school, it'll be able to shift my practice so that it becomes more daytime, regular hours. So that's what I also really love, is the flexibility that this kind of model gives to me for right now. And I think most practitioners appreciate that too. Costs are minimal, like really a Zoom account, a ring light, a webcam, simple things to help you connect with your client is a great way to start up, because there aren't a lot of overhead costs. And as you kind of grow your business, the costs just more so become like, okay, different software programs in order to do group coaching or client management software. So it's just things like that. There's really no big overhead cost to getting started. Most practitioners, when they start out, will work with clients in packages rather than like one-off client appointments. That way it just ensures that you can get a great rapport building with a client and kind of seeing their progress over time. It's an investment for the client, and it's an investment for the practitioner, really, to be working together and creating that tight relationship that helps a client thrive in reaching their health and wellness goals. So most practitioners, when they start out, if you broke it down to hourly, what it costs, what they charge per an hour of their time working with a client is usually right around $125 an hour. And again, this can range, but that's kind of the starting point where people start when they're building their practice. And from there, it can just grow, whether you're doing group coaching programs or creating a actual program that people go through at their own pace. It's about creating off of your experiences and being able to share that knowledge with other groups in a bigger way. So this is one of my favorite things to talk about, of why I really believe that nurses make great integrative health practitioners. So as a nurse, you already have the background and the training of really looking at a person from a whole perspective, looking at what's going on around them and their environment, and not just like a symptom or disease. So that's perfect, setting you up and preparing you to be an excellent integrative health practitioner. Just that overall focus on health and wellness, looking how the little things do matter, and everything is cumulative. Everything adds up. The things that you do each day in life or you don't do, it all has an impact on health and wellness. So just the background and understanding that nurses have of conventional medicine is key. Knowing what clients are coming into, what they've tried in the past, what has worked, what hasn't worked. Just that background knowledge that you bring to this role will really serve you and serve the clients that you work with really well. There's strong assessment skills that nurses have. Nurses know how to read between the lines of like what people are saying, what they aren't saying, and what that actually means. So those therapeutic communication that you developed, from the time you were in school to relationships working with patients in the hospital and in the community, will really serve you well in this role as an integrative health practitioner. And then just being goal-oriented, to be able to look at a client and know what their goals are and kind of setting up steps to help them reach that goal and work towards that is really going to be beneficial in helping clients reach the goals that they. So I hope just this time together going over what an integrative health practitioner is and how I've been able to use my experience as a nurse and learning this new material in my certification program and taking it to work with clients is helpful to you, to see if maybe, hey, this is a good fit and something that I could do. I would love to hear your story, hear where you're at. Just if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'm actually in the process right now of putting together a Breaking Traditions virtual course to be able to give nurses kind of just the mindset that they need to go through the skills that they have and how they may be able to transfer those skills into new areas and new roles that they never thought that they could be working in. So be on the lookout for that, but I would love to hear your thoughts and questions you have and to be able to connect with you. So thank you, take care, and I'll see you again soon.